everybody. It is the
Hi.
Boondlecast.
Hi. What's the Boondlecast? I've never heard of that. It seems like something very interesting that many people would probably be very butthurt if it went away for a week or three and just randomly came back.
Yeah. To those who actually do sit down and watch the Boondlecast on my channel, you already know what this is. But today we got it's also gonna go up on Boone's channel. Uh,
Hi.
for those on Boone's channel who don't know, this is a podcast that we used to do every Wednesday. Then we switched it to Thursday, and now we're switching it to Mondays because of stuff Boone has to deal with.
Work related. Basically, my schedule got basically fucked in the ass. Um, so my off days completely changed, and we decided Monday was the best because Monday was the day that I was pretty much guaranteed to have off. To be fair, pretty much guaranteed to have it off now, just about anyway. And if it's not on Monday, then we can always do it on like. Basically, if I'm not off on Monday, most likely I'm going to be off on Wednesday. So
Yeah. So now we're pretty much gonna just do these on Mondays now, which means
yeah.
we're gonna do this prior to the Billboard Top 30 change. But oh well.
But well, because we also cover 2 weeks at once, so pretty much.
It's
Fuck
not
it.
like it's not like it's a big deal anyway.
No. Most of the time between 1 week and the other, the charts aren't going to change drastically.
Especially now, and we'll get to this. We'll get more into this later. Especially now that we're on the summer fatigue.
Yeah. To go into it slightly, basically, considering we've gone like what 3 weeks without a Boondlecast. How many weeks? A lot.
It's
And
been.
normally,
Hold on, I'm gonna check real quick. It's been about. See, the last episode was on March 31st, so yeah, it's been a few weeks.
yeah, it's been like 3 weeks. Normally, with 2 weeks, we have 3 or 4 songs to talk about. This week, with 3 weeks, we have 3 songs to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's a bit stagnant right now. It's a bit stagnant.
And
But that's
well,
probably.
again,
Sorry, go ahead.
we'll get into more about that again later in the show, more than likely, because that is kind of a thing that we need to talk about, being that this is a music-based podcast, even though at the beginning of every show we usually have time to just talk about whatever. But
Yeah.
and we'll probably still have that open after we're done explaining everything on for Boone's viewers to catch up on.
Yeah. So, Doodle, why don't you tell my viewers about yourself? As
All
though they
right.
don't already know, because half of them are the commentary community.
Yeah, well, aside from the commentaries that I do on the Doodletones channel, I have a side channel where I usually host the Boondlecast, where I do reviews of cartoons. If that at all interests your viewers who watch your reviews, if that interests any of you guys, that is a place to come and watch. It's like cartoon animation reviews and stuff like that. It's not the music reviews like Boone does.
Yes, and for those on Doodle's channel who are still unfamiliar with my work, hi, I'm Boone. I make commentaries, I make reviews of music. I may start making reviews of some other things in the future. I've got some things possibly that I might be working on. A little bit of a spoiler, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, pretty much. I do stuff like that, very analytical sort of stuff that people hate me for. So if you want to hate me as well, feel free to check that out.
He's also a wrestling fan, so just throwing that
Yes,
one out
yes,
there.
I am also a wrestling fan. I might end up talking about wrestling at some point. I might.
Yeah, it's just A lot of his commentaries are actually wrestling based. No, not really, but he does
Two
bring up
of
wrestling.
them.
You
Two
bring
of them.
you do bring up
Two.
wrestling. You do bring up wrestling though. You do bring up wrestling quite
Yes,
often in your
two of
videos.
them out of 11, though.
Are actually, centered around wrestling. But, again,
Yes,
you do bring up wrestling though.
and I also play card games that may or may not be for children, depending on whether they're Magic the Gathering or not. And Magic the Gathering isn't for children.
I would debate that Yu-Gi-Oh isn't either, but
Right. It used to be Yu-Gi-Oh used to be for children, but now it's not.
yeah.
I also play those, and there's also the possibility of me discussing those things sometimes. In fact, I saw a video that I'd somewhat tempted to do a commentary on that was Magic related, which is weird because normally the Magic community really bad at giving commentary material because these people normally actually think out what they're going to say before they say it.
Unlike the Yu-Gi-Oh
So,
community.
yep.
One
Oh,
day I will get.
if it were
One day,
Yu-Gi-Oh, if it
no,
were
no,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
one,
it would
one,
be easy.
one day I'm gonna get around to watching some Yu-Gi tubers and getting some material from that. One day I'm gonna
By
get
the
around
way,
to it.
in my most recent, in my actually there was a Magic joke in my most recent commentary, um, where the person said and this was a commentary on Blaze the movie fan, and basically he had said that well yeah, if anybody can win a big tournament with a bad Pokemon if they know how to use it, and it's like, but this is the World Championship we're talking about. That's a little bit different. You're not going to win the Magic World Championship with a Dirtly Squirrel deck, and and I put up an image to represent a Dirtly Squirrel deck. That was the the card Squirrel's Nest with a Pachirisu basically photoshopped over the actual image on the card. So there you go. Because he was talking about Pachirisu, so.
Yeah. So yeah. I think we've got all of our viewers caught up, and now let's go ahead and do some, I guess, random shit talking if you want.
Wait, we weren't already doing random shit talk? I was talking about goddamn Magic jokes in my commentaries and crap.
Well, I mean,
Eh.
Well,
Yeah, but
I mean, yeah, new Yu-Gi-Oh ban list during the time that we've not done.
yeah, the new Yu-Gi-Oh ban list. Yeah.
I know you're not entirely the biggest fan of Yu-Gi-Oh due to how inconsistent they're.
But there is Magic news. And there is actually big Magic news. So the Pro Tour, which is like the premier, you have to get an invite to go on the Pro Tour. Let's just put it that way. It's more similar to like your national championships in Yu-Gi-Oh for those who are less familiar with Magic. Essentially, it's more along the lines of that. Like they have one like a few weeks after each set comes out. They have decided that the format Modern, which is a format that exists that basically allows all cards after a certain point that were in Standard at one time to be legal in this format. So basically, with this change comes the fuck my words, they're bad. So basically, they have decided that because this format is supposed to be slower moving, they're taking it off of the Pro Tour, but keeping it in other Premier Lay, like your Premier Play. Like I can't talk today, but they're putting it in other Premier Play, such as like the Grand Prix, which are a bit more similar to I don't know. Like I thought YCSs were like open to everybody, but apparently now they're not. Like but I remember they used to be. Like you could just go to one and enter it if you wanted to. But apparently now they're not. So I guess that's not a good example. But they hold like YCSs once a month, I think. And I know it's definitely more frequently than the Pro Tour. There's like 4 Pro Tours every year. Used to be 3. So, but anyway. But yes, basically that was making the modern metagame shift very slowly during most of the year, and then when a modern Pro Tour was coming up, it would just completely bust everything open. So that was essentially why they took it off of the Pro Tour, but they still have it a part of competitive play, and that's actually kind of a big deal to some people. Well, that was pretty long-winded.
Well, yeah, it's magic. You can go on for hours about that.
Oh yeah, it's true. If you know about magic, you pretty much are capable of going on for hours about it.
Yeah. And if you guys missed the last episode, for where have you been for the last 3 weeks? But if you missed the last episode, we actually do go into some Magic the Gathering lingo and stuff like that.
Yes, that in that episode we reviewed a rap album about Magic the Gathering, so you know.
Yep.
D's.
So how about that Coachella?
Yeah, I almost want to say this could be part of the reason that I'm going to admit something. I previously did not really follow Coachella, and I'm like, shit. And I'm like, crap. Now I actually like technically am a music journalist, so I kind of have to. So
I wouldn't call us journalists per se, but we are going to cover a lot of news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apparently there were surprise guests that were actually surprises.
Yep. And I'm gonna actually start from the like lower end of the Coachella news to some of the higher stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna start with Coachella 2016. Calvin Harris brings Rihanna on stage for a headline set. That was a bad one to start with.
Rihanna.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad one to start with.
My mic did not pick up that that I just did. I don't know. It's probably because I just started with it. I'm using like a filter and a gate to like normalize things a little bit better. Let me know if it sounds better in the comments below.
I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now. There are times where sometimes you like fade out.
Oh really? Oh really? Maybe I need to adjust the gain on that. Let me just try the 3.7 that he suggested.
Anyway, Calvin Harris and Rihanna. One day we're gonna need to get around to making it to where we can actually watch these performances. Though I feel like the minute that we do, we're gonna like start getting hit with copyright. So, cause music.
Yeah, that's true. Because music. The music industry fucking hates everyone.
Yeah. Let's see. A lot of this is... I don't know, I'm just scrolling up, and a lot of this seems to be all about Calvin Harris and Rihanna. So...
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ!
Was it really that good?
Do we really care that much? Do we really care that much? Oh my god.
Here's something. 11 best moments from Coachella 2016.
I'm seeing this article and I'm like, this one doesn't even fucking mention Rihanna.
Yeah.
It doesn't mention Rihanna at all. So let's just fucking go with this.
Yep. So so the first weekend of Coachella 2016 managed to pull off an internet-era miracle in that the majority of the weekend's surprise guests were genuine surprises. But it wasn't all about the cameos from April 15th to 17th in Indio, California. The Desert Fest also astounded to the old-fashioned way, simply by putting remarkable artists on stage and letting them do their thing. From Sia's performance art to Chris Stapleton's knockout country rock to Disclosure's star-studded evening, here are the 11 Billboard Top 100s. Favorite moments from Coachella 2016, Weekend 1. Yeah, Coachella spends a lot of time on. They
Yeah,
spend a lot of time.
yeah. Maybe that's why the charts are stagnant, is because everyone's at Coachella, so no one cares.
Alright, so number 11. Run the Jewels rocks the main stage with the help of Bernie Sanders.
Feel the burn! Feel the burn! I don't even know who Run the Jewels are. I need to look them up. I need to look them up to really know
They are a
stuff.
they are a hip hop group.
Oh, that's even better.
They are a hip hop group
That's great.
with the help of
Um,
Bernie Sanders.
their album Run the Jewels 2 is actually number 50 on the Billboard 200.
Yep. So my God.
It's also number 9 on the hip hop and R&B charts for albums. Clarify that.
Anyway, so continuing on, Bernie Sanders' bromance with Killer Mike reached Coachella via a video message introducing the Run the Jewels set early Saturday evening. One of the highlights of running for president over the course of the past year has been getting to know Killer Mike, the candidate announced. EIP, keep up the great work and let's get to know each other better in the months to come. It's rare for an artist to be asked to perform at Coachella for 2 consecutive years, but the Sanders intro assured Mike and I's set up the ante after last year's appearance.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, that's fucking awesome. Straight up. Jack, you. Would you like to read this? Because you're on
Yeah.
the same one, right?
Yeah. Jack U brings out Kanye West, Post Malone, Kieza, how the fuck you pronounce that, and more. Skrillex and Diplo turned the clock back to 1984 with an energetic stage show that channeled the original Apple Macintosh, performing atop a giant computer and loading up special guest programs like Chiesa and Aluna George on the outdoor stage's LED screens. Fresh off his microphone-marred performance with A$AP Rocky, Kanye West caused the crowd to erupt by simply appearing in front of the stage during Power, before Post Malone closed out the shows with a mashup of his viral single, White Iverson and Where Are You Now? Oh, that's right, Post Malone is the White Iverson guy. Fuck. While
Yeah.
Justin Bieber was spotted hanging backstage at the show, the pop star did not join the duo to perform their joint hit, as had been rumored. So they kind of like actually subverted the existing rumor, which is very interesting. I put the microphone closer to my face. Does that help at all?
Yeah, no, it helps. It helps.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, the idea behind that, just, like, even though, neither of us have really watched it, we should probably, again, keep up a lot more with Coachella, because I completely forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. Like, I'm never aware that Coachella exists until after Coachella has happened. So,
I'm
weird.
usually aware of it, like, while it's going on, but not when it just starts.
Yep.
So, but, like, the idea, or how they've described it, that sounds fucking awesome. Like, like, starting up an old Apple computer and starting up, like, it says program, so, like, did they have, like, these windows pop up with these artists doing things.
I guess so. It really sounds interesting because it sort of has this blend of sort of like a pre-taped thing and a live thing, and it's very interesting. I always love it when artists try to do very like that's just it. You really have to try hard. You really have to try hard to make like a live performance of EDM really be memorable.
Yeah. Alright, my turn. Sia. Sia's performance art. Sia's voice, issuing forth from beneath the bushy black and white wig, was one of the most powerful instruments in action throughout the entire first week of Coachella. But aside from her vocal domination, Sia's Sunday night set was one of the weekend's most visually intriguing too, appearing either on stage or on screen, or both in some cases, it wasn't quite clear. Maddie Ziegler, Paul Dano, and Christian Wiig performed interpretive dance movements to bring Sia's emotional lyrics to life. You know, like
Yeah,
every
that's really like all the like Sia always does. This isn't
yeah,
really
it's
like new, but I guess I guess the fact that it's someone other than Maddie Ziegler and not Shia LaBeouf, it makes it interesting.
yeah, no, Sia's performance art. She gets interpretive dance to her lyrics. You know, like every
Hmm.
Sia music video.
Like everyone, like all of them, like every single all.
Yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand. It looks good, and as an interpretive dance artist, she is good at doing what she does. But really and truly, this is nothing new. I
All
don't
right,
know.
yeah, let's move on then. Halsey surprises with Brendan Urie cameo. After telling Coachella, after telling her Coachella crowd there was one fucking band, screw that, I'm not censoring myself, fuckity fuck, that changed her life growing up, Halsey brought out Panic at the Disco's Brendan Urie on Saturday night to duet on her generational anthem, New Americana, and Urie's iconic I Write Sins Not Tragedies. I would want to hear Brendan Urie singing New Americana, and I would want to hear Hasley sing I Write Sins Not Tragedies. It was a teenage dream come true for Hasley and a strange, wonderful desert dream come true for everyone in attendance that night. I want to see that performance. Like, I want to see
I
performance.
I agree. Like Hazley. Okay, so this. We haven't talked about New Americana or Halsey yet, but she is really good. Like she's become very underrated because she hasn't had another hit.
I know, right? I know, right? And New Americana is incredibly good. I've heard like one or two other songs, and I like them, and I like them too. It's like, why isn't she more popular? But apparently, but she's popular enough to get on Coachella at least. So
Yeah, no,
hey,
that's definitely something. And Panic at the Disco. Let's face it, there are very few people in the world who don't like Panic at the Disco.
like
So
even if you think that the band is bad, you still like them. Like,
yeah, no, it's hard to hate Panic at the Disco, especially like when you watch their music videos too, and just how
yeah,
artsy they are.
basically. Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, no, those two are both really good at what they do. They're both really good, well, artist and band. They're both really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, that would just and I mean, Halsey's kind of lower tone for I Write Sins Not Tragedies, and Yuri's like big, like in your face thing for New Americana. That has to sound good. Like those are
Yeah,
just
it really does.
those are two complete opposites that are singing songs that are written for the opposite person. It's just
Right, and it'd be really interesting. It's kind of like if like it's kind of like if Adele started singing a freaking best
Prince.
example I can well,
Prince.
best example I could one example I was gonna say Lord, but yeah, Adele singing a Prince song actually, because Lord is very is it tends to be very understated.
you know, like Adele is a very slow artist. You listen to
Mm-hmm.
Prince, and he was very funk. He was very like,
Mm-hmm. Which Adele and Lord is still a good example because again, Lord is less big than much less big than Adele.
yeah,
Like
Lord is very quiet, and you know Adele's like
yes, and
center
Adele's
stage. Adele is very center stage. You
so
still
let's go to number 7.
all right? Disclosure delights with Sam Smith, Lord, Aluna George, and more. Disclosure's third
Gee, it's
Coachella.
almost like I was setting up for that. It's almost like I was setting up for that. I
Eh,
swear. I swear I didn't intend to actually. I should just play it off like I intended to do that, but no.
Dis-
I'm not gonna claim that. I had forgotten Lord was part of this entry.
eh. Disclosure's third Coachella appearance. Third. Wow. Bravo, Disclosure.
Yeah.
Was
For
there
how you for yeah, and go
for
ahead. Sorry.
how hard it is to get into Coachella? Goddamn Disclosure. Uh,
Mhm.
their third Coachella appearance was their most memorable, featuring a revolving door of marquee featured artists on the main stage. The Lawrence brothers showcased their live musicianship by providing an infectious electronic backdrop to their surprise guest. After Lord created a stir when she bounced on stage for Magnets, Sam Smith drew cheers when he appeared to finish off their set with Omen and Latch, of course, extending a joint appearance streak that dates back to Coachella 2013. Also on deck were Aluna George for White Noise, Quabs for Willing and Able, Jillian Hervey for Hourglass, and Brendan Riley for Moving Mountains.
So Disclosure just had a whole bunch of guests on there. So I'm like, wow, third time at Coachella. Jesus.
I mean, hey, again, it's hard to get into Coachella, so if you manage to get a third time into Coachella, you gotta make it big.
Yeah. Um, Chris Stapleton brings country to Coachella.
Alright.
Stagecoach Stagecoach Festival won't hit Indio for another 2 weeks, but country singer-songwriter Chris Stapleton looked right at home during his Sunday night set on the Gobi stage. Can you hear that when I talk? Can you hear
Yeah, there's
things?
something there's something in the background now.
Okay, I will have to go deal with that then, because it's probably copyright things
Well,
that will get us in trouble.
it's too muffled to actually really
Oh, okay,
pick
okay,
up, but
okay.
like it is
I
noticeable.
it's no, it's.
It's
I really don't
noticeable, but
want it.
it's fine. It's just keep going.
Okay,
It's
okay. Um, I spent a long time in vans pulling trailers, he reflected, introducing his track, The Devil Named Music. That sounds really interesting. We're not doing that anymore. Thank you for that. No kidding. Since a surprise album of the year win at the 2015 CMAs, his debut EP Traveler has been a staple in the upper reaches of the Billboard 200, and the well received Coachella set became another feather in the big man's cowboy hat.
okay. So
Yeah, very rarely is country at Coachella, so.
here's something that we kind of talked about before before this. Uh, we like I kind of brought up the fact that there are a lot of country artists and a lot of good country songs that do not get noticed because they're country, because people don't like country. And here it is in Coachella.
Well, the thing is country music has this sort of stigma to it. You know what I mean? Especially now with bro country. Like it's got this stigma of being way behind the times most of the time, when that's not always the case and it doesn't have to be the case. You know?
Yeah, but but that's what I'm saying though. It's like with country, there are some great songs that don't get noticed, and it seems to be only because it's country.
The music the other person is listening to is country music, so it's very fitting.
That it is. So, yeah, I don't know. It's good that we can see country in Coachella, or country just in general get popular. Like, that's something that needs to happen more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it's bro country. It's just like we need more country, honestly, because that is a dying out
I do.
genre. It really
I care if
is.
it's bro country. I'm sorry. I do care if it's bro country.
I don't, just because again, I think country is just a dying genre, and that's not something that I want to see. All right, number 5.
I don't want to
Cat.
see that either, but I also don't want it to become something that's not able to be taken seriously.
Eh. Anyway, number 5. Kesha's surprise appearance with Zed. First off, Kesha. That's the first thing I noticed with this.
Kesha. Well, it is the first word.
Yeah, no, but still, Kesha. Appearance with Zed. Those are both names that, I don't know, I'm surprised are still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
The Coachella weekend was full of buzzworthy guest appearances, but none was more poignant than the Free Kesha movement hitting Zed's Saturday night set. Kesha emerged triumphantly to swell up support on the Ondort stage to sing Zed's 2015 song True Colors. Alright,
Good for
Kesha,
Kesha.
this is... Okay, yeah, it's good for Kesha that she's actually, able to get on stage. But I know what this is about. And Kesha, stop it.
What is it about?
Free Kesha? You know what the Free Kesha movement is, right?
I've heard of the movement. I just don't fully know what it like she had gone to rehab, right? And like is she still in rehab?
No, 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 no. The Free Kesha movement is, uh, if I'm not mistaken, it's like some sort of legal troubles.
Yeah, I will have to look more into that to be
Well,
able to form
it's
it.
well, it's basically she tried to get out of a contract. Sony owned the contract. She doesn't want to be in the contract, and so people started, starting up the Free Kesha movement. Trust me,
Volume. Okay.
yeah, no. For one thing, I'm gonna say is I don't mind the Free Kesha movement, but stop it. Like
But draw attention to it in the right way instead of doing it in the wrong way, basically.
yeah, pretty much. It's like I support it, but do it. Please do it the right way.
The Chainsmokers, remember them? They made Selfie. Shock and Awe with G-Eazy, Third Eye Blind, Walk the Moon, and Tiesto. What the fuck? Third Eye Blind.
They're still relevant? Apparently.
Apparently. Boasting a tremendous new stage production setup and plenty of special guests, the Chainsmokers were the Sahara stage's clear Sunday highlight. Perched atop their three-tiered LED rig, the New York duo opened their set by teasing hit single Roses to widespread cheers. Their set featured numerous noteworthy appearances, including G-Eazy for Me, Myself, and I. No Baby Rexa. None of that. Damn. Tiesto for Split Only You, spelled with a U. Third Eye Blind for Jumper. They did Jumper.
I wish you would step back from.
And Walk the Moon for Shut Up and Dance. Featured singers Roses and Daya also handled vocal duties on Roses and Don't Let Me Down, respectively. The Sahara back and side stage areas were a virtual who's who of the dance music industry, with artists like Martin Garrix, DJ Snake, fresh off Shami's performance, Snails, and Louis the Child mingling with top managers and agents. Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, no, I just googled Third Eye Blind. Turns out they released an album last year, and the one song that really sticks out to me is Say It, featuring K-Flay. Now, I don't know, for those of you who don't, like, I don't know how many of you out there know who K-Flay is, but she is
I
an
don't even know who K-Flay is.
I really recommend her.
Mm.
She is a alternative artist who's got this kind of raspy delivery to like, how she delivers things. She's very, like, very soft, I should say. And it's, I don't know. She more spends time focusing on lyrics that make you think she's going through some sort of mental case sometimes, but I don't know. It's weird. It's like if you like Beck, by any means, if you like what Beck does, then you'll love K-Flay. I feel like she's a very underrated artist. But as for Third Eye, Blind, I can't believe you're still relevant.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a big shock. It's a big shock. Speaking of surprise relevance.
Oh, yeah, reunited LCD sound system moves the masses with All My Friends.
I just squeed, by the way. I'm not sure if my mic picked that up, but I squeed.
Yeah, it picked it up.
It takes a lot to make me squee. Like, to be fair.
Surprise guests need not apply. James Murphy
Nope.
James Murphy and company commanded the Coachella's main stage attention just fine on their own, showing off their analog electronic wizardry and live cohesion by seamlessly transitioning between fan favorites like I Can Change, Someone Great, and Losing My Edge. But it was their inevitable finale, All My Friends, that brought tears to the eyes of the attendants. After Murphy's voice cracked with emotion on the ending refrain, a spellbound audience slowly filled out while attempting to process what they'd seen. I can die happy now, said one young lady.
Yeah, I want to see this entire set, and I will probably freak the fuck out. Like, I love LCD sound system. They're like a freaking they're amazing, and it's so nice to see them back together, even just for one time.
Speaking of
Guns
bands,
and
speaking of bands that are getting together, weirdly enough, I don't even know if these two bands even still are around. But go ahead.
Guns N' Roses bring out AC/DC's Angus Young. Axl Rose's rumored collaboration with AC/DC on their upcoming tour was confirmed just hours before Guns N' Roses, just in the infancy of its long-awaited classic lineup reunion, took the main stage on Saturday. But no one expected that Axl's impending gig would start that very night. Noting that his broken foot prevented him from running around the Coachella stage like a madman, which, you know, Axl is well known for doing, Axl promised to bring out a friend as a consolation prize. That guest was the eternally energetic Angus Young, who simultaneously did the duck walk and scorched the stage alongside Slash with AC/DC classics Whole Lotta Rosie and Riff Raff, both of which Rose delivered with impressive hellfire. I want to see that performance. Axl Rose singing AC/DC, what the fuck?
And Angus Young even just being there.
Angus Young and Slash, both together. Slash even being there, because we know how Axl and Slash feel about each other.
Yeah. We're talking. This is the 70s and 80s incarnate right here, guys.
like all we need is like Kiss and Twisted Sister to show up.
Yeah, no, really. This is
that is not an exaggeration.
No, when people think of rock music, they think of these kind of bands.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, AC/DC. Just that is a sight to have to behold, and yeah, no, a
You
lot of
know
these.
that clip from Tim and Eric Awesome Show where the guy goes, "Whoa."
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
clip that's kind of playing in my brain right now.
yeah, no. These Coachella lineups things. It's just like I kind of want to watch Coachella now.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, the second weekend is already done. Actually, fuck.
Damn.
Cause it ended just yesterday. So, oh well. Anyway, and number one, gallant duets with Seal. Considering The Weeknd, once the torchbearer of alt R&B, is now a fully fledged hitmaker, it's time for someone new to step up to the plate and reshape R&B into an inventive, compelling fashion. That artist is gallant, and on Friday evening at Coachella, he proved there is much more to him than stellar songwriting chops. He's also an astonishing live performer, with a falsetto that would make Prince proud and a backing band that somehow makes his shyness a musical strength. It was already a top-notch set, but when the Seal came out to perform his 1991 hit Crazy, and trade vocals with Gallant on the latter's instant classic Weight in Gold, Gallant's Coachella set emerged as the weekend's finest moment.
Wow. I definitely need to check out more Gallant then, but because I don't
No,
think I've ever heard a single song by him.
no, I really
But
have not either.
he sounds very interesting. And and based on how I feel about The Weeknd, you know that I tend to like the alt R&B type of side of things.
He's only been around since 2013. I'm looking up Christopher Gallant right
Okay.
now. He's only been around since 2013. So odds are, yeah, no, we haven't heard of
Yeah,
him.
I will probably check him out and possibly give some sort of opinion, perhaps by the next episode.
You know, in another 3 weeks.
Another 3 or 2 weeks or 5 years, whatever.
Alright. So, alright. Latin. I know we don't talk about the Latin very much on this.
Latin, what the fuck? What are you doing, you fucking hipsters?
Yeah, no, I know we don't talk about the Latin very much, but this one very much catches my eye. Okay. Sporting a very goth look with an all-black outfit incorporating cowboy boots and a Tejana, Raphael Reyes, who goes by his stage name Leifer Sayer, his name spelled backwards. Oh, yeah, it is. Interesting. Jumped on stage at Coachella to give what he described as Sunday's ceremony. It's Sunday. You better be saying your prayers, the prayers frontman yelled at the crowd that was more than ready to worship their music. The throbbing beats of punk rock mixed with synthesizers accompanied harsh lyrics about real-life problems. Sayer himself has even gone through as a one-time gang member and alcoholic. After Prayer's performance at the Mojave stage, Billboard sat down with the Cholo Goth duo composed of Sayer and beatmaster David Parley to talk about what Cholo Goth music really is, how their Mexican culture has helped shape them as artists, and about Donald Trump, who got a shout out from Sayer while performing at Coachella. That's the one thing that I really want to look at.
Yeah,
So,
he sounded interesting until I heard Donald Trump.
well, no, that's the part that I want to look at. That's the part that really caught my eye about this. I mean, don't get me wrong. His music sounds alright, you know. This is real stuff that he's actually apparently gone through. And if I could understand Spanish, I don't know if he does his music in Spanish, but odds are he probably does. I would still listen to it if I can understand Spanish. But Donald Trump, that part was just completely out of left field.
But Donald Trump.
So the question was, can you explain the message you sent out about Donald Trump during your performance when you said, "Don't let that piece of shit divide us"?
Ooh.
I like this guy. The thing is, okay, his response is, the thing is that he is just trying to separate us. We're all from different colors and races, and we're all great. I don't want people of a color, a group of people I belong to start looking at white people differently because of him. It's a topic that needs to be addressed, but the language used to talk about it needs to be accurate. Dude, I like this guy. This guy is fucking awesome.
Yeah, this guy is freaking great. I need to check him out.
You know, we don't talk about the Latin on here, which is unfortunate. Latin's interesting.
Yeah. So do we have any further news stories other than the one?
On the Cholo Goth group? No, that's we might, but I'm still scrolling
No,
up.
no, no. Other than the one, the one.
Oh, the 11 best moments.
No, no, no. The one that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh! No, I mean we still got more Coachella. We still got more Coachella to talk about, and
Okay.
we'll probably cover that story here in a bit.
Yeah.
All right, Coachella
Yeah, I'm pretty
2016.
sure everybody already knows what we're talking about, by the way. So.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty fucking obvious, and if you don't know, don't worry. The truck is coming. So
The truck is
Coachella,
coming. It will hit you.
yeah. Coachella 2016. Beware the real estate agent hijacking your festival feed. All right. Okay, so an estimated 99,000 Coachella revelers, holy crap, stumble home from the first weekend of the Indio-based music festival to relive the highlights on their Facebook and Instagram feeds. Many were making a rude discovery. Literally thousands of posts were geotagged Coachella Weekend 1, now read a different location entirely. They read Rami Atherton. Where? Who? Clicking Atherton's name
What?
reveals that he is a property agent with Norman and Associates, a real estate firm with offices in Hollywood, Brentwood, and Beverly Hills. Atherton's professional bio boasts that growing up behind the gates of LA's most coveted communities has enabled him to understand the dynamic and tailored lifestyle his clients identify with. Apparently, it's also taught him that no technique is too underhanded when it comes to siphoning attention to cutthroat Los Angeles real estate market. The publicity scheme has left scores of Coachella goers fuming. That's some sneaky shit, says Buzz Chapman, 42, a TV producer whose festival memories are now forever intertwined with someone who cites an unparalleled level of discretion as one of his key professional qualities. It is a pain in the ass, and I can't change them back, so now his name is all over my timeline. On Monday, Chapman issued a warning to friends in a Facebook Coachella group not to fall for the trick during weekend 2. Someone else in the group then noticed that yet another fake location has already been set up by Atherton for the second half of the festival. Soon dozens were sharing their own accounts of seeing Atherton's name pop up like weeds all over the social media feeds. The kicker? Atherton himself stayed far away from the same event that was virtually wallpapered with his name. I'm really happy half of Los Angeles is going to Coachella, he says in a Facebook post. No traffic for 3 whole days. Hashtag proper option. Reached by the Hollywood Reporter, Atherton counters that confused Facebook users were tagging our group. We had about 100 people do that, and I disconnected it because it was getting kind of obscene. People were tagging it that weren't in our group. I didn't realize it was a public group, Atherton continues. I caught it this weekend and I changed it. Pressed as to whether the mix-up was actually a publicity stunt, Atherton's response, no, absolutely not. And I call bullshit. Anyone else?
I don't know what to say about that because it's like Jesus Christ. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, for those who or not really fell for this, but for those who wound up having this, I am terribly sorry. Like, that is terrible. I mean, you only get to go to Coachella once a year, if even once a year. You know, it's a pretty big festival. So,
Yep.
all right. So, mm, Nathaniel Rateliff on his 2016 plans, moving to Canada if Trump gets elected, and new music.
Well, that's I do we need to know more than that?
Well, do you know who Nathaniel Rateliff is?
No.
He is a folk singer, soul,
Oh.
gospel, blues rock.
Mm-hmm.
He's he's someone that I could like. He's someone in the demographic of of music that I could see supporting Trump. So that's what makes this funny. So okay, I'm gonna like read off just a little bit of it. I'm not gonna read off the whole thing. Probably just the first paragraph or first few paragraphs. As he sits backstage at Coachella, Nathaniel Rateliff is talking about his most dedicated audience. In Canada, I am catnip for women over 40 because they grew up with rock and roll, I guess, he tells Billboard. That could turn out to be a good thing for him if Donald Trump gets elected because Rateliff tells us that if Trump wins the presidency. If Trump gets elected, that's where I'll be. That's where we will all be. The Great White North, he says. We've been trying to be honorary Canadians, and we grew up watching Strange Brew, so we know the language. At least for the next 7 months, through the Denver-based Rateliff and his Night Sweats are safe, triumphantly touring the U.S. in support of last year's Epiness debut. After a decade of working towards the type of mainstream success he is now enjoying, Rateliff will do all he can to thank fans for their support, including releasing an upcoming EP he tells us his label's not even aware of yet. Rateliff, Jose Pope, and Wesley Watkins sat with Billboard in a trailer backstage at Coachella and spoke about how he had been convinced to record SOB and the song that makes him bawl every time he tries to play it. So, there you go.
I have a sneaking suspicion that although Trump potentially could win the Republican primary because he's loud and boisterous, and those types of people tend to win primaries, I don't see him getting elected president simply because those very loud and boisterous people typically, when it comes down to brass tacks, when the election happens, those people get shut down hard.
It's true.
Not to mention, you've already got Republicans that don't want to vote for him. You've got Democrats who definitely will not vote for him. No one is going to take it seriously that Donald Trump is running for president.
Except the people who are.
And that's just it. Ronald Reagan was an actor and he became president. Yes, that's just it. Ronald Reagan showed with his actions during his campaign that he knew something about politics. Donald Trump is showing that he's full of shit. So, all right, I guess we can just move on then.
Alright. So, not gonna read the title of this because it'll give away. But my whole squad fucking lit, 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 lit. Rapped duo Futuristic and Devin Terrell at around 3:45 p.m. last Saturday. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Devin Terrell is he's like a DJ, right? Is that what I'm...
I think so.
Well, alright.
Yeah, he's a DJ. He's a DJ. He did a remix of Work by Rihanna.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this. So, oh no, never mind. This isn't the kind of story that I thought it was. Basically, the Chainsmokers and Fetty Wap started up the second week of the festival. Fetty Wap!
Oh, okay.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Oh,
It's
come
better
on.
than fucking... No, it's better than some of the alternatives, like Rich Homie Quan and Designer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Fetty!
I'd rather have him than certain other people.
Alright. Puff Daddy comes back. You guys remember Puff Daddy, right?
Yay! Is P Diddy money, dirty money.
Puff Daddy and the Family, presented by Sean Puff Daddy Combs and Common, is the latest addition to this year's Essence Festival, also announced on April 20th, and the night-by-night breakdown of performances taking place across 5 stages inside the New Orleans Superdome. So they did their... They had fucking Puff Daddy. But, not only that, they had Babyface, Faith Evans, Digital Planets, the Internet, Kelly Price, Mariah Carey, Common, Jeremy, Kendrick Lamar, Andra Day, Dejloaf, Kalani, Robert Glasper, Brand New Heavies, Little Sims, and like so many fucking other names that I either have never heard of or haven't heard of in forever. So,
The Essence Festival! That's what the Essence Festival is, basically.
yeah.
I'm getting knocks at my door now. Hang on.
Alright. In the meantime, I guess I will try to entertain the audience. This is not something that's happened before. So, oh boy. So, I guess to... Alright, I will cover just my, like, a side thing. Gary Clark Jr. marries girlfriend at Coachella-styled wedding. I'll go ahead and cover this while Boone's off. So Coachella 2016 is getting ready to kick off its second weekend, but the music festival came early for Gary Clark Jr., new wife Nicole Tunifo. The multi-talented musician and Australian model were married on Tuesday, April 19th, in a Coachella-themed wedding that played homage to the Desert Festival where they met 4 years ago. The couple tied a knot at the Colony Palms Hotel in Palm Springs, California, with their 15-month-old song Zion in tow, as reported by Brides. The ceremony featured bridesmaids dressed in festival-appropriate flower crowns and guest lists of superstar celebrities per Brides. Clark's drummer Johnny Raidlet and guitarist Eric Zapta served as groomsmen, and manager Scott Winitraub officiated the marriage. The wedding was held on the unusual choice of Tuesday due to Clark's performances at both Coachella weekends. Trunfio and guests were in attendance for the festival set before the wedding, and after the ceremony they were treated to performances by Citizen Cope and Alice Smith. So for those who do not know who Gary Clark Jr. is, he is a guitarist. That is basically all I can tell you. Alright, so Gary Lee Clark Jr. is an American guitarist and actor based in Austin, Texas. Clark has shared the same stage with various legends of rock and roll and has stated that he is influenced by blues, jazz, soul, and country, as well as hip hop. Welcome back, Boone. I was just trying to cover.
I'm sorry. I'm back, and it was a thing.
It's fine. I have kind of introduced both audiences to Gary Clark Jr.
Okay. I've never heard of this person.
He's basically he's an American guitarist and actor based in Austin, Texas. He's apparently done stuff with people.
Alrighty.
Yeah, no, nobody was alone on this with not knowing who Gary Clark Jr. was, because I didn't even know. Alright. So, here's the next story that I actually wanted to cover. Coachella or Passover? Matchachella lets you do both. So Coachella's second weekend, for many Jewish people, presents something of a dilemma. Either draw your bubby's ira by blowing off her Passover seder and matzah soup bowl, or drown your FOMO in bitter herbs and gelatinous jellified fish while LCE Sound System, Guns N' Roses, and Saya blow up in the Desert Fest. Thanks to a rabbi and a rapper, you may not have to make that tortured decision. We'll be doing a 10-minute Cedars and distributing matzah through one of the Jewish artists who we work with a lot, Kosha Dills, said Rabbi Yonah Brookstein. Hold on. There is a Kosha Dills. He is
apparently.
Okay. He's a Jewish rapper. Okay, that's fine. Just Kosha Dills. That just was like such a weird name.
Kosha dill pickles.
Yeah, I understand. But does
but that's still weird. But that's still weird. Even if you get the reference, that's still weird.
It's just like, could you get a more Jewish name? So it's like, are you trying to show people that you're... it's like, if it's okay if he's Jewish, but it's like, do you have to make it so obvious? I don't know. Maybe you know, maybe he's like a Christian rapper, but for Jewish people. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep going. Okay, so says Rabbi Yonah Brookstein, who runs the Shabbat Tent, a structure that has been providing spiritual and social comfort at music festivals to Jew and Gentile alike over the past 16 years. Like manna from heaven, the Shabbat Tent at this year's I can't believe I had to correct myself with manna and mana for saying manna. From manna from heaven.
No, you corrected yourself by saying manna.
Yeah, no. I understand. So, to those viewers, you know how Magic the Gathering uses mana, but everyone calls it mana? I correct them by calling it mana because that's what it is. That's how you pronounce it, is mana. Mana is spelled with 2 N's, or sometimes an N and an H. I just made the mistake of calling mana mana. And for the first time, I think, ever in my life, I've actually had to correct myself by saying mana. This story is driving me crazy. Like, manna from heaven, the Shabbat
It all connects back to Magic the Gathering now, doesn't it? It always does. It always has, and it always will.
Anyway, like manna from heaven, the Shabbat tent at this year's Coachella is presenting Coachella, a 10-minute Passover Seder which will happen roughly every hour on both Friday and Saturday nights in a tent situated in the car camping area just past Coachella's iconic Ferris wheel. Here, the youngest participant can ask for the ceremonial floor questions while all partake in the Seder plate, which includes, and I've already butchered a bunch of fucking names here, but I'm gonna butcher more. Asa matzah, i.e. bland unleavened bread, caroset, a sweet mix of fruits and nuts, maror, a spicy horseradish mixture, and a lamb shank bone as well as Manischewitz grape juice. I've probably butchered so many fucking names, and there's gonna be so many people pissed off at us. Myself and another
Yeah.
artist named Tesha from Israel are running the Cedar, says Kosha Dills, whose new album, What I Do All Day and Pickle, What I Do All Day and Pickle. Alright, is being
What
self
I do? I told you it was pickles. It was pickles all along.
Yeah, no, I knew it was Pickles, but that's his new album name. What I Do All Day
Tommy
and
Pickles.
Pickle
Tommy
is being
Pickles.
is being self-released on its own Oy Vey Records.
Oy vey, Jesus Christ. Okay, I don't think they're gonna get mad at us when we have the definition of a Jewish stereotype that
Yeah,
we're
no,
covering. Like this guy is Jewish and he's basically playing up the stereotypes.
Yes, please don't get mad at us for this. The rapper has led similar Cedars at Murs Paid Dues Festival and is planning to drive back to Los Angeles on Saturday to perform at Broke LA, formerly Brokechella, where he'd lead another Cedar before returning to Coachella that night. Ah, God. Just this story. It almost sounds like a parody. Does it not? Or am I the only one?
It sounds like a parody. It sounds like a parody of. It sounds like an April Fool's joke.
It really does. Oh, man. Kosha Dill. Oy Vey Records. We've got new Cards Against Humanity cards. I'm just saying. By the way, for those who do not know, after every Boondlecast, there's this website called Azala.com where I make a Boondlecast Cards Against Humanity deck, and I have been adding to that deck after every episode. So.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is beautiful. This is giving me so many fucking cards.
Yep. Oy Vey Records.
Records. God fucking damn it.
Oh man.
I almost do not want to cover this next story because that one just left us on such a high note, and I don't want to kill the mood already because we're getting to that story.
Well, we kind of have to cover it though.
Yep. Okay. For those of you who are not, or for those of you who've been living under a rock the past week, Prince has passed away. For those of you who are under that rock, I should say, let us explain who Prince was. As if we really need to. But he was simply known as Prince up until a certain point where then he was known as the artist formerly known as Prince. And then he was the artist formerly known as the artist formerly known as Prince. But he was a funk singer that was around from like 1976 to 2016. It's a good run.
Mm-hmm.
And but he had released some of probably the bigger hits out there.
You know, you
As
have songs like Purple Rain. You have songs like Little Red Corvette. Those are just some of the most well-known examples. You know.
while my guitar gently weeps, he did a cover of that in
Mhm.
2011, I think. Um,
Yeah.
I Want to Be Your Lover in 1979. Um, he had like, was it 1999? Was that his song?
Yeah. Yeah. That was him.
I try to remember if he did 2000, 2001, or 1999. I always get confused because fucking
No, it
there.
was 1999. 2000 might be over, out of time,
Yeah.
but tonight gonna. Sorry.
Um,
He did a fucking movie. He did a fucking movie.
he did a few movies.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
actually.
let's see. He also didn't he do one with like doves? I'm trying to remember that song name.
When Doves Cry.
There we go. Which I believe everyone was wanting to play at Prince, or at the fact that Prince had died. I've heard some people wanting to play that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it's kind of like the David
Oh,
Bowie thing.
Raspberry Beret. Raspberry Beret, too. Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like the thing with David Bowie. He had a good run, so I'm not too sad to see him go, but it still is awful when we lose. Uh, um,
Yeah.
when we lose such a big name like this.
Mm-hmm. But you can at least be happy knowing that they've had a full life and a full career.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, hold on. I got a side thing here. I just
Oh?
know. Yeah, I got the side thing. It's related to Prince too.
Oh, okay.
Prince Prince had worked apparently, reportedly at least, worked for 154 hours without sleep in the days leading up to his death in an elevator at his Paisley Park estate.
Hmm.
What was he
Well,
working on though?
that would probably yeah, that would
Oh,
probably be an issue.
the Mail said that Phillips, who was married to Prince's sister, would not say what Prince had been working on in the days before he died, nor give details of what is going on at the service. So, yeah, Prince was always private. He was always kind of like a Prince was always kind of like a person who
Yeah.
didn't want his stuff very, very much out there.
And
Employees,
yeah, he really was. And we could end up dedicating an entire episode to Prince.
we really
We
could.
really we really could.
Employees at the Electric Fetus record shop in Minneapolis said that the musician appeared to be pale and weak when he visited 5 days before his death. Max Timander, who works at Electric Fetus, told the Press Association everyone I talked to that Saturday said he kind of looked pale and he wasn't totally looking in the best shape as he normally is. It sounded like he was looking kind of weak. I know he had just gotten over the flu, supposedly. So, huh.
Hmm.
Prince is certainly an enigma. Alright. Oh. Here's one. Here's a story.
Okay.
ASAP Ferg gets in a car crash on his way to Coachella. Thank God for the seatbelt. This is both this is both a sad story, a little silly story, and a story that's going to teach us something. So, who's ASAP Ferg, first off? 'Cause I don't think I even know.
He is a member of the ASAP Mob. A well-known member of the ASAP Mob, by the way, being ASAP Rocky. Um, I believe they had somewhat recently had. I believe within the past few years, they actually did end up have a member of them, end up dying. I can't seem to remember who though. Oh, it's ASAP Ant. ASAP Ant is the one who died.
Hmm. All right. So yeah, no, I'm not. I wasn't entirely sure who that was, but so ASAP Ferg got into a car accident on his way to Indio, California on Friday, for Coachella's second weekend. But the Trap Lord seems to be just fine. Feng posted to Twitter after the accident, telling his followers what happened. In a video, he said, "I got into a crazy crash just now and was clearly shaken up enough to make a mention. I'm
By the way, I
straight."
say ASAP Ant is currently still alive. I seem to remember one of the people with the ASAP name died. I just don't remember which one.
Anyway, he said, "I'm straight, thank God for the seatbelt," he wrote in a following tweet. "Though it's hard to tell the severity of the crash in the video, we're glad to see Ferg is just seemingly fine." It's just, I don't know. And thank God for the seatbelt.
Yep. Always buckle up, kids.
Let's see. Some stuff about Prince tributes. Oh. Oh. Oh, wait, no, this is a song, isn't it?
Is it
Ah,
an? Is
it's a
it?
song. It's a song.
Yeah. Okay.
LCD Sound System, your wonderful Squeefest, covered controversy.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like what? It's like oh no, that's the name of a Prince song. Never mind.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought too. I was just like, huh. Um, Pearl Jam, Prince tributes, Kendrick Lamar tributes.
Yeah, lots of stories about Prince tributes.
I knew we were gonna eventually cover it. It was gonna happen. Like, there was no avoiding it. Ice Cube complete NWA reunion with Dr. Dre at Coachella Weekend 2.
Wow.
It happened! It happened! So, oh wait, was that last episode or the episode before that somebody played Fuck the Police and wound up getting arrested because of it?
I think that was last episode.
Yeah! Okay, so during the first weekend of this year's Coachella Music Festival, Ice Cube had promised an NWA reunion, but it was only during his Weekend 2 set that it actually fully delivered. After playing Straight Out of Compton and Fuck the Police with bandmates MC Ren and DJ Yella, and a snippet of Boys in the Hood with Eazy-E's son, Young E, Cube fully formed the reunion to rabid applause by bringing up Dr. Dre. Since Dre never rapped on NWA's original output, though, acting solely as a producer, the group laid on into newer classic Still DRE, with the audience loudly rapping along to every word. They followed it with California Love, obviously eaten up as well. Though he had also presented a guest spot from The Game early in the set, Cube wasn't done. Towards the end of the set, Kendrick Lamar was visible on the big screens and soon was on stage, confidently rapping two songs, including the hit All Right. Earlier in the day, the rapper also did a set in Soul Diva SCA. Given Lamar's pedigree and popularity, it would not be surprising to see him in the headliner slot himself the next couple of years. So, The Game, NWA, and Kendrick Lamar all get on stage basically to do NWA songs. Hip hop fans unite.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds awesome. I really should try to watch that set.
I wonder if the whole coach. Obviously, probably not the whole Coachella is on there, but and I don't think I'd want to watch the whole Coachella. But I wonder if people have been like recording things from Coachella.
Most likely they have.
Usher did a tribute to Prince and
Well, of
tributes to
course Usher did a tribute to Prince. Of course he did.
yeah. Usher's kind of was kind of inspired by Prince.
Hmm.
Um, so apparently 3 more tributes to Prince, David Bowie, and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I mean,
Oh,
they're not.
Red Hot Chili Peppers Shine. Okay. So Red Hot Chili Peppers did the
Oh yeah, they owe a lot to Prince too.
Prince and David Bowie.
Yeah, if you know Red Hot Chili Peppers music library, you know how much they owe to both David Bowie and Prince.
So yeah, no, Coachella basically took up the majority of this episode. We're already on the hour mark. So that's good. I am glad because we had no
Oh wow,
preparation.
I have us on. Well, actually, we had a little bit of pre stuff, so.
Yeah, no, we had zero preparation for this, by the way. Like, neither of us were prepared to do this. Grant you, we didn't
Yeah,
have
it
to.
was.
Thank you,
We did
Coachella.
not have to. Thank you, Coachella.
Alright, so now we get into the Billboard Top 30. As we said earlier, we're kind of on the summer drought of music. And we kind of promised that we'd touch on this later in the episode, and we're here at the later part of the episode. So,
So, like I said, normally with 2 weeks we get like 3 or 4 songs to talk about. We're doing this with a 3-week gap, and we have only 3 new songs to talk about. I would normally expect there to be like 1 or 2 extra songs because of the gap, but this is all that we've got, and it's really strange and really to say that, except for the fact that of course normally during the summer the charts kind of stay in generally the same place. The movement at the top just shuts completely down almost entirely. Which isn't happening yet, but I'm sure it will. But the movement further down the chart is kind of slowed too, and basically once you get past the top 30, you're going to see some new stuff, but nothing can break into the top 30 basically.
yeah, and this has been a thing for years now. Probably since like maybe the late 2000s, like from 2006 and to now. Like we constantly see a halt on music just in general during around this time. I don't know why. I really don't. I don't think anyone knows why. We just kind of just see it. It just kind of stops.
My theory is that it's because of the music festivals. Like people are putting out less music, less new music, I should say, basically non-live performance type of music. But it's possible because this past year has really shown has really shown a lot more of the internet's influence on the music industry than we've seen previously, with songs from fucking Vine becoming huge hits. So it's entirely possible that we could end up seeing, more more of a change this time. You never really know, but it does look like there's at least some form of stagnation going on.
Yeah. It happened last year, I believe. What was the number one song at the time last year? Um,
Last year was
See You Again. Wiz Khalifa. That was in
oh,
May.
that was the earliest summer stagnation ever.
Then 2014 had Happy by Pharrell Williams.
Yeah.
2013 Just Give Me a Reason by Pink. 2012 was probably somebody that I used to know. 2011 was S&M. Like we see this kind of stuff just happen. It just sort of kind of
Yeah.
happens. So
Yeah.
for the rest of these like summer stagnation episodes, we're probably gonna see a lot shorter. Like we're gonna see shorter episodes in the upcoming while.
Yeah, or we could just shift to once a month or once every 3 weeks during that.
Yeah.
We ever go to once every 3 weeks? Why would we ever do that? That seems like such a stupid idea.
Anyway, on that note, we've got two Drake songs and a Nick Jonas song to cover. So,
We got a whole lot to cover, so let's just get right into the news.
all right. So, we've already did the news. We're on the charts now.
I'm doing
I
a
know.
Killer Keemstar thing. Just work with
I
it.
know. I know. Anyway, so One Dance. We both have pretty much the same reaction to it.
Yeah, One Dance is like probably the best lullaby that's come out this year.
Yeah,
I
no.
would you agree with that? Would you? I
Drake.
mean,
I think Drake as a whole is just becoming a lullaby artist. I think he's trying to like maybe he's getting ready to have a kid. Maybe.
yeah, and he wants a bunch of song. He wants a bunch of songs to be able to play to put the kid to sleep.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it.
Because I could say the same thing about pop style. It was just one ear and out the other.
Yeah, for the when in the time that I listened to it, I felt kind of offended because I'm like, this is a complete waste of time. This is providing absolutely nothing. I could be doing other things that are much more productive uses of my time, but I'm spending 3.5 minutes listening to this goddamn song because I fucking have to. Fuck my life. Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, everything that just was said in that song went in one ear and out the other for me. I don't remember anything of what he said in there. I just, I guess it's background noise. I mean, if that's what you want,
Yeah. And then we have the Nick Jonas song, Close,
which is
featuring Toe.
it's an alright idea, but it feels very vanilla. It's very safe. It's kind of what you expect from Tovlo and Nick Jonas.
I can somewhat agree with you. Although I will say that I think in general the track was pretty well executed for what it was trying to do, you know. It being safe, I'm not going to say that that's a detraction on its own. Um
No, but it's nothing bad. It's just it's nothing to write
mhm.
home about either.
No, I would definitely listen to it. I would definitely listen to it. I definitely enjoy listening to it, but it's not like something that I'm gonna put on a pedestal. You know,
No, no, it's nothing to put on a pedestal.
not like
All right.
LCD Sound System.
I will. I haven't checked them out. I might have to do that later.
Oh,
Actually,
you should. Oh,
you're
you
probably
should.
going to force me to listen to them later.
You know what? You know what? Next week, LCD sound system.
Well, not next week, but next episode definitely.
Well,
LCD sound
yeah,
system.
yeah, you get the idea. Next week in Boondlecast time.
On that
I always say next. I always say next week. I always say next week.
on that note, Weird Al Yankovic. Okay,
Yeah.
for those of you who are not familiar with the Boondlecast, because this is also going on Boonslayer's account. So one thing that we have started doing on this channel since like episode 2, we have been looking at artists and trying to give like a top 5, just generic songs, to try to kind of introduce people who may not know these artists or who may
And the
even
thing
know
is,
these artists.
in my case, it isn't always like straight up. These are my 5 favorite songs. It's normally these are 5 songs that sort of give good examples of what the artist does. Doodle
Yeah,
normally goes with this. This is the favorites. Although interestingly, last week we didn't do a top 5. We just reviewed an album.
yeah, but yeah, no. This is usually to either give people some new artists to listen to, or maybe some new songs from artists that are already kind of popular to listen to. Because we both kind of have our hipster moments at times where we kind of look at things that nobody has heard of. So
Mm-hmm.
we do have our moments. So from there, we're gonna do one on Weird Al Yankovic, which I'm certain everyone here knows. I don't think he needs any introduction. So, who's gonna start? Is it gonna be the Al fan or you?
Well, it's probably going to be me.
Alright.
Well, well, I wanted to start off with a song from Mandatory Fun because that album doesn't get talked about very much. Um, and it's a perfectly fine album. It's not as good as some of his others, no, but it's perfectly fine. And the song I wanted to cite is, Weird Al tends to be very good at taking something that sounds really awesome and making it sound really stupid when put in a different context. So, now a song from this album that I feel like does this very well is the song Inactive, which is a parody of Radioactive. Notably at the beginning, where the lead singer says, "I'm breathing in the chemicals," and he does the breathe in that I can't do as loud as him for some like Jesus Christ. Um, but Weird Al does it where he's using an inhaler instead. So so it makes that sound silly. It's really easy to make that sound silly, don't get me wrong. But I find that one particularly interesting and particularly funny. And it's like sort of, and basically the way the song goes is that the guy is sort of this nerdy dude who like sits in front of the TV. It's kind of like an extension of Couch Potato, the parody of Lose Yourself from,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, previous album.
No, Lose
No, no,
Yourself
yeah,
came
no,
from like running with. No, Poodle Hat.
yeah,
Came from Poodle Hat.
yeah. It came from Poodle Hat. That's my bad. Alpocalypse did not. It had other stuff on that.
Apocalypse had some pretty good ones, and I'll probably talk about some
Yes.
of those too.
Yeah,
Unless you
well,
got one.
I might end up I might end up talking about those. But go on. You're number 5 in this arbitrary list that doesn't even have numbers.
Yeah. Here's one that I don't hear too many people talking about. Airline Amy. Airline Amy is pretty much a song, it's like one of those Weird Al love songs where he gets purposely creepy for the sake of being creepy. Um, Airline Amy is basically a one of those kind of love songs towards a flight hostess that he sees on a regular basis and winds up getting frequent flyer stuffs and things like that. It's just, again, it gets purposely creepy for the sake of being creepy. Those kind of Weird Al songs don't get normally seen as much as some others, but I think Airline Amy is probably the perfect example of those kind of creepy love songs that he does. Do I Creep You Out being kind of an honorable mention from that as well. So.
Yeah. When you talk about Weird Al, obviously at some point you're going to end up talking about polka, because he does these like polka covers on just about every album, and it's always like sort of in the form of sort of a medley of them. But there's one particular standalone one, and this was not from one of Weird Al's albums, actually.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's actually from the soundtrack to a movie.
Oh, I know definitely which one you're talking about now.
Yeah. So for any of you 90s kids out there, you probably remember that in Pokemon, they used to have sort of the Pokemon rap at the end of many of the episodes. Weird Al did something similar, except it was a polka song.
Yep.
And I think there's only like one or two where it sounds like he's not even saying the name of a real Pokemon. All of them are like the actual Pokemon names. It's like, just goes to show that if you make a normal song that's just funny, you can make a normal song that's just funny. You know, I don't know what else to say about that.
Fun fact, he actually says, I believe, ditto twice in that song.
Because it's Ditto. Because it's Ditto.
Ditto. He says ditto twice.
Because it's Ditto. Because exactly for that reason.
And that song, by the way, because he hasn't said the name of it, is Pokemon.
Yep. It's Pokemon.
I'm gonna take everyone here to a album that I believe pretty much everyone forgot Weird Al even did. So, there was a person by the name of Sergei Prokofiev who did an entire work called Peter and the Wolf. Weird Al took that and did Peter and the Wolf Carnival of Animals Part 2, which was an album released in 1988 and was a children's album by Weird Al. Now, it's hard to choose just one of those songs from the Peter and the Wolf album because they're all kind of short, with the exception of, like, Peter and the Wolf itself, which is a 27-minute long song. So, this is kind of cheating, but I put the whole Peter and the Wolf album on there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because
so speaking of... sorry.
Just because it's, you know, just because it's something that people don't tend to know even exists. And it's not that bad, especially for a children's album, it's really not that bad.
So, I just mentioned that Weird Al did a polka interpretation of what is essentially a rap song. Well, believe it or not, he also does rap songs. Go figure. And there's one in particular that highlights Weird Al's ability, because part of the reason Weird Al is such a good parody artist is because he has such a variation on the things that he does. He can do so many different things. And one that really highlights this is perhaps it's all about the Pentiums. Simply because it shows that he has the ability to rap with a very similar cadence to the original rapper, as well as sing with a very similar cadence to the original singer. And we can also that is some, and also come up with original lyrics to go with it.
With that in mind, we can also bring up Trash Day.
We can also bring up Trash Day, yes.
Because I'm serious. I'm just gonna say this right now. Nelly is incredibly hard to replicate.
Yep.
Okay. So Weird Al tends to really like some of Weird Al, or some of my favorite Weird Al songs, I should say, are his original songs that are more towards his original songs. Don't get me wrong, I love his parodies. It's hard not to love his parodies, but he has his own original style, and some of those winds up, or some of those wind up with some of the most out there crazy songs that people have probably ever heard of. Some examples being of this. That's your horoscope for today. Why does this always happen to me? And the one I'm choosing for this slot, everything you know is wrong.
I was tempted to say that one myself. I was tempted to. Like
Yeah, no, that's your horoscope for today is a good one. I've listened to that one many times. I've listened to uh, Why Does This Always Happen to Me? But I think I've listened to Everything You Know Is Wrong the most out of all of those out of all Weird Al's originals. Just because of how chaotic the song is. How just chaotic it is written. It still tells a story, but the story is just so strange. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is.
well,
So,
I have a song that kind of tells a story, but one thing to note about many of Weird Al's like more original works, and this is one that is more of an original work than a straight up parody, is that many times he will use this in order to parody the style of a particular artist or a particular genre. Um, and in Straight Outta Linwood, he
I know which
decided
one you're talking about.
to parody Rage Against the Machine. With a
Oh.
song called "I'll Sue Ya," which sounds like the opposite type of song from what Rage Against the Machine would ever freaking write. And I think part of the reason that people don't talk about it is because it was one of those ones that had like that animated music video. And I don't think as many people like that. In fact, my last one is also one, at least unless Doodle takes it from me. I don't know if she will though. I don't know. But the last one is also one that has an animated music video. But this one also does, and this one is actually a really good song because he's like, it's so funny. It's sort of a parody of this sort of lawsuit trigger finger culture that was around during the time as well.
How many have we already done? I think we've done 3 each, right?
We've done 4 each.
4 each.
No, I've done 4. I've done 4.
Oh. Alright, well, we're gonna go back to 1993 with his album Alapalooza, which is unfortunately a very not as well known one. I think the only song I can think of that people actually liked from that album, or people actually talk about from that album, is either Jurassic Park or maybe Bohemian Polka to a certain extent. But I want to talk about one that takes an Aerosmith song and turns it into a nightmare induced craze. Living in the Fridge is just this kind of one of those songs where it's like he describes something that has been in the fridge forever and has probably created a colony, but he creates it in a way that's like he obviously had to somehow have like a nightmare out of it, or like he tried to like he made something that we could probably all relate to in the sense that we all know those kind of people who just leave stuff in the fridge and don't clean it out or anything like that. So.
Speaking of incredibly related or incredibly relatable songs, we can go back to Straight Out of Linwood for this one.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
And you know, the original song was relatable for a lot of people, I think, but it was also very cinematic and very cheesy. To the point where the singer released so many fucking sequels, it's ridiculous. And they all got music videos, by the way. In fact, the entirety of those music videos consists of a movie. Some people now immediately know what I'm talking about. Doodle probably knew what I was talking about as soon as I started talking.
Yes.
I am, of course, talking about a song that I have probably praised to Doodle in the past. But, you know, I haven't talked about it on this podcast. I don't think I've actually talked about it in a internet public setting. But that would be Trapped in the Drive-Thru.
The 10-minute song.
A 10-minute song. And one notable thing about that is that he uses specific lines from the original song, puts them in a different context to make them mean different things. Like when the line, she looks at me and I look at her, like over and over again, that was meant to show intimacy in the original song, whereas in this one it shows awkwardness.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way it's used.
And alright, so this is my 5th one, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so going back to Alapalooza, because I cannot praise this, I cannot praise some of the songs on this enough. Just because of how, like, there are some, Weird Al songs that take, I kind of want to say irony, but they're not, like, all of the songs of which I'm referencing to here are not necessarily ironic, though I guess this one kind of is. But he takes, like, he takes these ideas and concepts and just makes them, and just uses them in a way that makes it seem like a kind of a pathetic kind of scenario. And this kind of goes back to what I said for my first one, where he also makes these kind of creepy love songs. This one's not a creepy love song. This one's a song where it's supposed to be a love song, but it's pathetic. And it's called She Never Told Me She Was a Mime. Just...
I just realized it. I read that title and I'm like, that's stupid. And then I'm like, wait, wait.
She never told me she was a mime. I
you
don't
hear it out loud. It's just like, no, I guess she didn't.
I don't think I need to go into why this is probably one of my favorites.
It's definitely a favorite song title. It's definitely a favorite song title, at the very least, if nothing else.
The whole time he's complaining about how, oh, she doesn't talk to me, we don't communicate, we have an awful time communicating, it's just, it's awful, this relationship is almost not gonna work. And then he goes on in the chorus to explain how she is a mime. So
I mean, really, if mimes aren't that difficult to understand, really. I mean, God, what a jerk. What are you, mimophobic or some shit?
Nobody fucking talks about the song. Fucking nobody.
Oh boy. Well.
Anyway.
I believe we are in line for the wrap up or ending bullshit.
Yeah.
Or basically the ending bullshit. Basically, we bullshit again.
Yep.
So, because
I
fuck
mean,
structure.
yeah, no, yeah, screw structure. We're not professional.
Yeah.
But
I literally walked away for like a minute or two in the middle of the podcast and then came back and I'm like, people are bitches. And it's like,
you
that's
know,
how professional we are. Um,
as in not at all.
by the way, I'm looking at the Pokemon the Movie 2000 soundtrack. And guess what? A band that we talked about last week is here. O Town.
Oh, interesting.
Fucking O Town. They have 2 songs on here. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, no.
There's
Back
also
to
a
like,
band called Devotion to Music, which is really sounds like just the greatest band.
I back to the Weird Al thing. I'm just there's a lot of albums that people don't really talk about. There's certainly a lot of songs that people don't talk about when it comes to Weird Al. Dude, we could have turned that 5 that 5 into like 20
Yeah, each.
with like no crossover.
With like no crossover.
He's got so many
With
good
you
songs
still
on-
picking a full album for one of yours.
Yeah, although yeah, nobody tends to know that Peter and the Wolf even exists. So I know I was pretty safe on that one.
Jeez, like,
Like I could
like
have
that's just it.
chose
You could still pick an entire album in addition to that one, really, and we'd still have a top 20 each.
the entire
With no
UHF
crossover.
soundtrack. The entirety of the UHF soundtrack.
I think that's fair.
Which pretty much, to be fair, it's only got like 3 actual songs. Everything, no,
Yeah.
4 actual songs. Everything else is pretty much skits for the most part.
So next week-ish sort of time period, LCD sound system.
Sure, it'll definitely give me something to listen to.
Yeah. So until next week, I've been your friendly neighborhood Boonslayer,
And I've been Doodle.
and this has been Boondlecast. We'll see you next time.
Whenever that is.